beautiful music. Thank you, Fleetwood Mac, for another great song. Oh my gosh, I love Bare Trees. What a great album. Love that album growing up. That was a solitude, a solace album. I really found a lot of solace in that album. So the title of the show, it's a little crooked. Let me see if I can straighten it out here. All right. So today's show is From Wine to Cancer. And it's kind of like when you're driving, when you buy a car, you notice cars that look like yours on the highway when you probably didn't notice them before. So that's kind of like the cancer conversation is to me right now, because I've got some battles going on, and we'll talk about that second half of the show. But have you noticed the push on air about alcohol causes cancer? So you're probably wondering to yourself, that's crazy, because this is the first time that I've ever heard that alcohol causes cancer. And you're probably thinking you're just putting that in the back of your mind that the Surgeon General of the United States of America wants to put a warning label on all alcohol. This doesn't affect most of us, right? You're thinking well, you're not going to get up in arms. You're not going to call your congressman. You're not going to it doesn't raise itself to, we're going to put the president of the United States in jail for the rest of his life. Doesn't quite raise to that level of engagement. Okay? So the Surgeon General wants to put warning labels on all alcohol that says alcohol causes cancer. Now you think about it, you think it kind of goes over your head. They get on MSNBC, CNN, the doctors, there's a study, it shows it, everybody, alcohol causes cancer. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's going on? So you got to this is where the shit starts. Right? This is where the shit starts. And it's the government and the doctors doing phony studies. And I don't even know what the study, I'll be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest. I didn't read the study. I don't give a shit about the study. I don't care about the study because it's all bullshit. And I'll tell you why they're doing it. I'll tell you why they're doing it after 25 years and how many thousands and thousands of years of human beings drinking alcohol has our government and the doctors and the medical establishment come up with the study that says alcohol causes cancer. So now you could take, most people, myself included, are not going to invest the time and effort to find out the bull malarkey that is in the study. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to do it. Because it's not worth my time. It's not worth my time. It's not worth your time. It's not worth anybody's time. So they're counting on that. They're counting on people just blowing this off. Alcohol causes cancer. Alcohol's bad for you. Yeah, we already know alcohol's bad for you. Who cares? Let's just move on. And if you come out now, let's just say I were to come out and read this study and find out how much bull malarkey's in it, and I were to tell you how much bull malarkey's in this study, you know what they'd do to me? They'd cancel me. They'd cancel me. They'd say, no, it's misinformation, disinformation. You can't say that the alcohol doesn't cause cancer. Are you with me? Are you with me? So the fact that they come out and say alcohol causes cancer, right? They don't know that. I guarantee you they don't know that. They don't know it. Because if they would have known it, how did it take them 200 plus years to figure it out with all the modern medicine that we have, that alcohol causes cancer? Just now, alcohol causes dementia. That would have been a better one. I would think. Alcohol causes death. Any human being that's ever drank dies, right? I mean, if you come to your end conclusion before you start the science, then the science will match your end conclusion. So anybody that drinks alcohol will die. It's a true statement. It's factual. It's factual. It's 100% factual. You know what is another factual statement? Anyone that doesn't drink alcohol will die. That is correct. Both of them are factual statements. We will all die. It's like, what a bunch of bull. So the question you got to ask yourself, the question you have to ask yourself is why? Why now? Why is the government that told us hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin were bad for you, when Dr. Zelensky came out with his protocol, his ivermectin hydroxychloroquine protocol with hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and vitamin D3, they cured 799 out of 800 patients in New York when COVID first hit. Why did they persecute Dr. Zelenko rather than do a trial? And I did a bunch of shows about this, the absolute horrific actions that our government took to keep you from getting the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine during the COVID, because they wanted to kill you. They wanted to jab you with this. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Justin, am I about to put your channel at risk? Am I still on your channel?
You're on the second channel.
So is this your overall channel as far as the station goes?
You can make a disclaimer if they accept it.
Well, shit. I don't want to put you at risk.
You need to get your Facebook page up.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so we'll go light. But there were treatments, safe treatments, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I think if you go online now, you'll find that there were safe treatments for COVID for most people. But I just want to talk to you about, like, they had all these studies. They did all these studies. They did such a simple study that could have been done for hydroxychloroquine or for ivermectin, right? It would have been simple. Both of them approved drugs, safe drugs, vitamin D3 and zinc. It would have been simple, right? Quercetin. It would have been all of them, most of them over-the-counter drugs. Ivermectin should be over-the-counter, but all of them safe. And a trial would have been so easy, but they didn't do it, did they? They didn't do a safe, easy trial using hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. No, they did not. They did not. As a matter of fact, they kept you from getting ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, didn't they? Yep. Made the doctors into bad guys that wanted to give it to you. So it started with the fear of dying. They used the fear of dying from COVID to separate your brain from your action, and the media just pulverized you with disinformation. Just pulverized you. They still do. They still pulverize you, your little poor brain, with disinformation. And so now the pulverization, they're laying. This is like tendering meat before you cook it. This is the hammer that they're using. This little hammer with little pricks in it, right? Bam, 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 bam. And they're tendering your brain. They're tendering your brain with little messaging. Alcohol causes cancer. Now, if you say that enough times, your brain will start to believe it. It will. It's almost impossible to react. If somebody tells you 1,000 times that alcohol causes cancer, at some point in time, your brain starts thinking alcohol causes cancer. Alcohol causes cancer. So they've started the mantra now. They've started it. They've started the little softening of your brain with the little mantra, alcohol causes cancer. So now they're just pounding away. But, of course they got to come out with, all or stop, reverse, reverse engines we're about to run into a landmine. Alcohol causes cancer. They have to do the sky is falling. Do you understand? In order for that message to have impact, they've got to do the sky is falling. The sky is falling, you know. Remember that tale? The sky is falling. And everybody runs and hides. That's what they're doing with alcohol. Why? Why are they doing it? Well, I can conjecture as to why they're doing it. One reason is there's a lot more people that have cancer now. Now, we're not going to get into why I think a lot more people have cancer. I'm not going to get into that. But I can tell you that a lot more people have cancer. A lot more people have really bad cancer, cancer that goes nuclear. I forget what the medical term for it is, but it's just a violent form of cancer. Not that cancer is not violent enough by itself, but violent forms of cancer that people are dying by. And you can guess what I think the answer is for that. But since I don't want Justin to lose his second channel, I won't get into it too much, and I'm not a doctor. But I think that's one reason why they're saying they're coming out now with this alcohol causes cancer. It's because they want there to be a plausible explanation of so many more people having cancer. The second reason is a little bit more nuanced, in my opinion. This is all conjecture on my part, all conjecture. The second reason is this is a little more nuanced. There's two religions vying for the world right now. One religion is Christianity, and one religion is Islam. They're not compatible. I'm telling you right now, not compatible. They're not compatible, not because Christianity hates everybody that doesn't think like us, that doesn't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. We just don't think you're going to heaven. So I don't hate you, I love you. I want you to go to heaven. But if you have read the Bible and you know of Jesus Christ, and you know that the Creator came down and suffered and died, and you know all this story, and you refuse the Christ, then don't get mad at me for telling you his words are the only way to heaven is through him. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. It's not my fault. God didn't come down from heaven. The creator of the universe didn't come down from heaven and become man and say, all good people are going to heaven. That's not what he said. So don't get mad at me. I don't hate you. I love you. And I want you in heaven. Don't get mad at me for just telling you what I believe God said. God said, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God, you're not going to heaven. I would think that would be a beautiful thing for me to tell you. And if I didn't tell you that, that all eternity awaits you in utter joy in the light of our Creator, if you simply believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. I mean, I would not be a good person. I would not be a good person if I didn't tell you that. I absolutely 100% believe that. Do I want all good people to go to heaven? Absolutely. Do I think our loving Creator will has people in heaven that didn't worship Jesus Christ? I hope so. Because I know a lot of great people that were so nice and so very, very good that didn't believe in Jesus Christ, and I want them in heaven with me. I want them to be a dancing star, playing games and having fun for all eternity. Absolutely, I do. Do I think they deserve to be in heaven? Absolutely. Probably more so from what they did and how they acted and how they treated people. Probably more so than many Christians that simply said they believe in Jesus Christ and then were miserable human beings to other people. I mean, that's the truth, right? There's a lot of Christians that are not good people, that are not nice people, but they believe in Jesus Christ. I don't understand it. I don't understand why. Some people, I think, just say they believe in Jesus Christ, and then they just say that for social appearances, but in their hearts, they don't really believe that Jesus Christ is God. They don't really believe the creator of the universe became a human being so that the creator could know the sensations, the pain, the agony, the love, the joy of being a human being in flesh. And I get that. But the creator did do that. There's no other item in the universe that believes in a creator, that wonders why there's a universe, that has free will. There's no other creatures have free will. No, rocks don't. Other planets don't. The sun doesn't. Dolphins don't. Whales don't. I mean, crickets don't. Flies don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no other being in the universe that has free will. We're it. We are it. And the reason why you know you're made in the image of the Creator is because you have free will. You have a choice of whether or not to believe in Jesus Christ. You have a choice of whether or not to believe in God. You have a choice of whether or not to do good things or bad things. That's how you know you're made in the image of the Creator. So, all right. So let's keep talking. So there's two religions. So one is Christianity. The other one is Islam. Not compatible. They are not compatible. They're not, as you're finding out in England with all the rape gangs of little kafir, non-believer, white Christian girls. Not compatible. So what happens? So like if they're not compatible, so Islam is a different religion that believes you get everlasting life, and your 72 virgins or 70 virgins or however many virgins you get by following the word of the Quran. And they believe every word in the Quran is the actual word of God, not interpretation, but the writing the writing down of what God has said. So the actual word of God. So God spoke a lot to write the Quran. God was not fooling around to give that many direct passages to Muhammad, right? So those are the two main religions. In the Quran, it says don't drink. God didn't want you to drink at all, right? So here we go. We've got two gods. And they say it's the same God, but it's not the same God. It's not the same God. Understand it's not the same God. Because God is not duplicitous. He's not duplicitous. He doesn't tell you one thing one day and something else the next day. God doesn't turn water into wine and then 400 years later tell you that wine is bad. He wouldn't have turned water into wine if wine was bad. Wouldn't have done it. Too much of anything is bad, correct? Too much of anything is bad. In moderato. All things in moderation. That was my mom's favorite saying. And it's not how I live my life, just to be clear. Not in any way, stretch, or form. I have done very few things in my life in moderation. As I've gotten older, I have moderated, but that's more a factor of age than wisdom, than choice. All right. So one reason why that the establishment, the medical directorate, the government. So the medical directorate comes out with a study alcohol causes cancer. The government steps in, got to put a warning label on all alcohol. Alcohol causes cancer. It's all bullshit. So, but the government wants you to be afraid, wants you to be fearful. So they want you to always live in fear. So one thing is they get you to live in fear of alcohol causing cancer, right? So now they put it out there. Now they're saying it. Now they repeat it. Now they repeat it. They feed it. They feed. They fertilize. They fertilize it. They tenderize it. They tenderize your brain. They fertilize it and tenderize it. Plant the seed. And now they're going to sit back and watch it grow. And I'm just telling you why they're doing it. One reason is there's a lot more cancer out there now. So the government's looking for a reason for you as a rational human being that sees all these new cases of cancer, not over 2,000 years, but over 2 years, 3 years. Like, oh, it's alcohol. Wait a minute, we've been drinking alcohol for thousands of years. But now it causes cancer? But it's the doctors. They did a study. It's the truth. Science, damn it. Science. Believe in science. Right? Step 1. Step 2. Step 2 is one religion. Are you with me? One religion turns water into wine. One religion tells you alcohol is bad. Don't drink it. So if you have to choose between two religions and alcohol causes cancer, are you with me? What's the true religion? One religion turned water into wine, and one religion tells you not to drink alcohol. Which is the true religion? We all know alcohol is not necessarily good for you. It does have some medicinal purposes as far as relaxing and de-stressing the mind. But alcohol does that by basically affecting the mind, the spirit. It relaxes things. It calms things down. It basically is a type of poison. It's kind of your body does react to it. It's not a bad thing if you don't drink alcohol. It's not a terrible thing if you drink alcohol. It does have, like I said, it does have some medicinal purposes. Resveratrol in red wine was supposed to be good for the heart. And actually it wasn't. It's in the grapes, but it's also in the wine. So now the government has established a religion. So now you know where the medical community stands on religion. It's not a Christian. It does not appear to be Christian dominated at the government level. At the, science is, I'm all about going out and finding things that are real. And if it were the case that small consumption of alcohol, like I said, if you drink alcohol, you will die. It's a true statement. It's an absolute true statement. If you drink water, you will die. It's an absolute true statement. You know why they're both true statements? Because you're going to die. You're going to die. So what happens now they planted the seed, they've thrown their fertilizer on it. Science, science, science. Alcohol causes cancer. Now, in the Muslim countries where they don't allow you to drink alcohol, they don't sell alcohol, they're backed up by science. God has chosen Islam as the true religion. So, again, and then the government gets control of the alcohol industry. Now it's not just a regulated industry on the state level, on the national level, but now the government can come in and tax the alcohol industry, making alcohol more expensive, tax them for health care because alcohol causes cancer. I just thought of that one. But now they get to tax additional monies to alcohol because they say alcohol causes cancer. So this doesn't seem like the hill to die on, does it? I mean, you're going to come out here and you're going to defend alcohol. You're going to say alcohol is good for you. I'm not saying alcohol is good for you. What I'm saying is alcohol isn't bad for you. Too much alcohol is terrible for you. Alcohol and driving is deadly. It's not a good idea. But alcohol in and of itself is not evil. Alcohol in and of itself is not terrible. And the government shouldn't be in the position to tell you to put a label that alcohol causes cancer. We already know that alcohol causes cirrhosis of the liver. We already know alcohol causes a lot of terrible things in the body. But to make that stretch that alcohol is as a direct result of drinking alcohol, the alcohol itself causes cancer. It's an outrageous statement. It's an outrageous. They've studied cancer for hundreds of years with absolute total science. They've studied cancer till they beat a horse to death, and somehow they haven't come up with a cure for it yet, which I find interesting. But now they're coming out and telling you that alcohol causes cancer. Well, where have they been for the last 50 years? They just now figuring out, all these people that studied cancer all these years, that alcohol causes it? What about the kids that have cancer? What about the turbo cancer? What about all the people that didn't drink, that are young and have cancer? Did alcohol, can you get alcohol cancer by being around somebody that's drinking alcohol? See where it's going? See what they're doing? And so, do I want to spend the rest of my life defending alcohol? No, I don't. And nobody else does either, because I stopped drinking 6 years ago, and I'm happy that I stopped drinking. I love that I stopped drinking. Do I wish I still drank alcohol? Yes. Yes, I do. I loved alcohol. But it was time for me to stop drinking because it was. And so I stopped. We cannot let the intelligentsia, the people that are at the top, treat us like crap anymore. Treat us like we are complete morons, and install these wicked dictatorial statements upon us and into our spirit, into our heart, to destroy our lives, our joy, our freedom. Because that's what all it's about. That's all it's about. Do you think the people that came out and said alcohol causes cancer, do you think they're worried about you getting cancer? No, not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. They did not come out with this because they think that by reducing the amount of alcohol that you drink, that there'll be less cancer and less people dying. 100% not a chance in hell. 100%. This is not a safety issue for you as a citizen. It is not a safety issue for those that drink alcohol. It is not a safety issue. It is a control issue. It is a narrative issue. It is we want to promote a cult that doesn't allow alcohol. 100% totalitarian bullshit. And I hated to take up half my show talking about it, but who else is talking about it? Nobody. And they're just going to keep on with this alcohol causes cancer bullshit until we stop it. Now, Donald Trump doesn't drink alcohol. Do you think Donald Trump wants to get on there and talk about the benefits of alcohol? No. He doesn't. But they're going to force his hand. They're going to force his hand, and he's going to. He saw what alcohol did to his brother. I guess his brother was a wicked alcoholic. There are people that catch alcohol as a disease, that have that genetic propensity that alcohol destroys their lives. It can. It has. It does. I've watched it. I owned a bar for 14 years. I watched it destroy lives. I watched alcohol destroy lives. It's not like, I don't want to defend drinking alcohol, but I want to stop us as human beings from being this mishmash of intelligence that gets manipulated by the government, by the doctors, by the scientific community, by big pharma, that gets by totalitarian thought processes of communism and Islam, to destroy your world, to destroy your joy, to destroy your freedom. That's what it's all about. Control, power. That's all they want. They don't give a shit about your life. You saw in California. You saw in Florida. I mean, California with the fire. Do you think they gave a shit about those people's lives? No, they don't give a shit about their lives. You know why they don't give? You know how you can tell? Because they didn't take out the underbrush that had been growing for 30 years. They didn't take out the dead trees out of the forest for 30 years. They didn't let the water come down. These were all decisions that were predicated on saving lives. But what did they do? They chose not to. They chose not to do those things. Why did they choose not to do those things? Because you don't matter to them. Your life does not matter to them. Your freedom does not matter to them. The only thing that matters to them is their power. So they've got to find new ways to insert their ability to have power. So alcohol causes cancer. Oh, run for the hills, the sky's falling. Kills two birds for them. It explains all these new outbreaks of cancer. But he didn't even drink alcohol, and he's got turbo cancer. Yeah, well, he was around. That's don't dismiss that. Why are we talking about him? Well, guess what? On Channel 4 and Channel 5, they won't. They'll talk about the guy that drank alcohol that has cancer. Time after time, you see where it's going? Like, you see where this is going. They'll start focusing on the cancer patients, but not because of anything that's happened the last 2 or 3 years. No, they drink alcohol. Did you drink alcohol? Do you drink alcohol? See? And it stops that. It lets them change the conversation. It lets them change the conversation over something that's happened the past couple of years. They never stop plotting. It's all they do. They don't create goods. They don't create services. They create ideas and thought processes that allow them to control you and have more power. Why did Jesus turn water into wine? Why did God, the creator of the universe, turn water into wine at a wedding? Why? Did he do it because wine causes cancer? Did God do it because he wanted all the people at the Jewish wedding to die of cancer? Did he do it because all the people at the wedding he wanted to turn them into wicked alcoholics that could never go another day without a drink of wine? Free will, everybody. Free will. If your family's inclined to alcoholism, don't drink. A lot of it is genetic. Just don't drink. If your mom is an alcoholic, if your dad's an alcoholic, don't drink, because there's a high proclivity that you're going to be an alcoholic too. So just don't drink. It's free will. If your family has successfully drank alcohol and kept a job and done well and had a successful marriage, drink. Drink alcohol. Don't overdo it, in moderation. The people that tell you not to drink alcohol because they say it's bad for you, or they say their God told them that they couldn't drink alcohol, so therefore no one should drink alcohol. Power and control. Power and control. Taxation, they'll put on that label now that says alcohol causes cancer, they'll put all sorts of, they'll start suing people. You know, anybody that sells alcohol is causing cancer. Do you get it? Do you get the whole, where this whole road goes, So eventually when I have time, I'll sit down and I'll try to review this bullshit study and share it with you. But in my opinion, without having looked at it, and I hate to say I know what I know, but don't confuse me with the facts, but that's where I am with this. I know that our God turned water into wine. And if alcohol caused cancer by drinking a glass of wine, God would never have done that. So I tell you with 100% certainty, that your loving God would never turn water into wine if wine caused you cancer. Everything causes cancer. If you don't do it in my, think of all the things. I think, and then the other part of this is, I think with the other reason I think the government's coming out with this, I think because RFK Jr. is going to be coming out soon and going through all the different dyes and chemicals that the food processors and the pharmaceutical companies are putting in our food products and our pharmaceuticals and how bad they are for you. And so I think what this was another opportunity for the deep state, the pharma, big medicine, to try to convolute the whole conversation by saying alcohol causes cancer, right? Red dye 40, hurts with ADHD, and believe me, it does. I've experienced it on a personal level. It doesn't cause ADHD. It just lights. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Oh my gosh. So it's going to allow them to control a narrative, and they want their narrative to be RFK Jr. doesn't know what he's talking about. Everything's bad for you, so don't worry about anything, right? If alcohol is bad for you, everything's bad for you. Don't worry about it. Just don't. It overwhelms you, so you don't worry about anything. Don't worry about. So if the food processors that have put red dye 40 in your food the past 40 years, knowing that it's terrible for you, then how about all these people that sold alcohol? They knowingly sold you something that's bad for you. Indeed, on that note, did you notice where they didn't allow alcohol at the New Year's Eve celebration? And even in Nashville, Tennessee, around the band areas, you'll note that it looked like none of the kids had alcohol in their hands. None of the young adults that were celebrating New Year's Eve had alcohol. So none of the people at Times Square had alcohol. So the messaging is already getting through that alcohol is bad. So who sends out the message that alcohol is bad? Islam. And I'm telling you, that's where they're going with it. It is. That's where they're going with it. And let me tell you what else Islam tells you. Put on a hijab, cover your face. That's homosexual should be. If you ever, they're going to hang a 16-year-old. They sentenced a 16-year-old Pakistani Christian to die because they said he said something bad about Islam. Not that he raped an Islamic girl because she's a non-believer in Christ. No. They're going to hang him. So the Pakistanis that are in Britain that are raping non-believer kafir girls, Christian girls in England, right? They're maybe sentenced to prison. So I want you to understand the dichotomy of this. So Pakistanis go to England, they rape non-believer Christian girls, and they get to do it. They do it in gangs. In one case, they actually arrested the 12-year-old girl. They arrested her father for trying to save her. This is just outrageous shit. And that's in England. But in Pakistan, the country where they came from, a 16-year-old Christian Pakistani, they say, said something bad about Muhammad, and they sentenced him to death. That's Islam, brothers and sisters. And you better wake the hell up. And this whole alcohol is cancer. Is just part of that train. And we better derail that train, brothers. We better derail that train. Because the world they're bringing to you is one of pain and agony. And that's the next topic of the show. We're going to talk about, I've got good news, though. I've got great news. I have found the cure for progressivism. I have found the cure for liberalism. We're going to go into that on the next segment of the show. But first, we got to listen to some jams, man. I got to drink some water. I got to zen up. And then we're going to talk about the cure for liberalism, because I found it. Hello, back in. So I don't have a lot of time left, and this was really exciting because I figured out what cures liberalism. I figured out what cures. Remember, we did all these shows, where they've got these concrete bunks around there. Their whole head is surrounded by this concrete of this dried, hard cow shit that goes all around their head, and you can't get through to their brain because they've got it. You can take a sledgehammer and you cannot crack that concrete bullshit bell that covers their brain, that covers their heart. But I figured out, because I've observed, and I can tell you what cures liberalism. Not all of it. I'm not talking about the severe forms. I'm not talking about the Marxist Karen Bass. There's no curing a Marxist, right? There's no curing a Marxist because they just want you dead. So how do you cure somebody that wants to kill you? You can't. They want to kill you. So there's no curing Marxists because they've already made a determination that either God doesn't exist or they're willing to spend an eternity in hell, which they have no idea what they've committed to with that. No idea. Marxists have no idea what they've committed to. So most likely Marxists have come to the conclusion that there is no God, and any reward they have is going to be in this world, and they're willing to do anything to get that reward by power. And that means, since they're not creative and can't use capitalism to do it, they're going to use power, death, and suffering to do it. Your suffering, not their suffering. Your suffering. So, how do you get a non-Marxist, a mild to moderate suffering liberal, diseased liberal brain to change, to open up their mind to see the lies and manipulation of what they've become as a liberal, all the lies and bullshit that they espouse and think they're right. Global warming, Hunter Biden's laptop, Russia, and Ukraine killing each other is good. Jews are bad. Like, how do you get into that brain where it finally snaps and goes, holy shit, they've been lying to me the whole time. Jews aren't bad. Israel's a democracy. The October 7th was a horrible thing. They killed innocent people for no reason. What's the snap that comes in? Pain. Suffering. How many people do you think in California right now, where they just lost thousands of homes because of liberal progressive bullshit? How many people that are sitting there staring at their ashes still believe that Governor Newsom and Marxism is the answer for poor people, for them? You want to watch some brilliant TV? Watch Stephen Smith. Because I don't know what pain Stephen Smith, he suffered. I don't know what pain he suffered, but you want to watch somebody that's been cured or is in the process of curing from liberalism, watch Stephen Smith. Go Notre Dame. Great game. Indy. Come on, national championship. I'm hoping I'm going to Atlanta on the 20th and watch them bring it home. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be playing Ohio State, but I don't care. Ohio State, Texas, I don't give a shit. What a great game. Great game. Kudos to Penn State. Great game. And that, my friends, is a wrap on another edition of Kingdom's Evolution. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I shared some insights that I go through the week, and I just try to find one or two things that I can talk about during the week, and maybe other people aren't talking about it. I try not to be repetitive of what you're already hearing from other places. God bless you. Let's do a quick prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Boom. Have a great weekend. Drive safe. And we'll finish off with another great song. Bye, everybody.